system is vicious.
So my ranking videos have become pretty popular. My Eminem one has a little under 70,000 views and my Tyler one is close to hitting 100. Today I wanted to stray away from hip hop a little bit and cover another artist I really like, Ariana Grande.
Hey yo!
She's put out some of my favorite music over the last 8 years and I think she's deserving of all the praise. Without further ado, let's jump into the ranking. So the meme I wanted to put here wasn't allowed. So no meme today, just pain. Before you start Googling me to find my address, let me just say I think Positions is a fine album, an album I happen to enjoy quite a bit. I just happen to enjoy these albums a little more. If Positions is your favorite Ariana album, that's totally okay. This is not a personal attack on you, and it should not be taken as such. Anyway, Positions is fine. The album isn't bad by any means, but there's not a whole lot to it. It's kind of a lackluster successor to Thank You Next and doesn't offer nearly as much as that record did. Now these are two very different albums, let's make that clear, but all Ariana's records are very different from each other. Although they all offer something of worth. This album offers Ariana saying pussy, I guess that's a new thing.
Pussy!
The music is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It has great production, catchy lyrics, like 3435 is catchy as fuck even though the remix is unnecessary. My Hair is pretty and extremely intimate, it has great horns, POV is probably my favorite song on here, being really relatable. I love the concept of being able to see yourself from a totally different perspective. There's a lot to like, just not a lot of substance, and by substance I don't mean some deep message. I'm huge on music not needing a deep meaning to it. This is one of my favorite albums for crying out loud. But with all of her work, well almost all of it, you can tell that every song had something going into it. The only thing going into Ariana while making this album apparently was dick, so that explains it.
It should have been me, not him!
Songs like Main Thing, West Side, and Obvious are just forgettable. The best thing this album has going for it is how catchy some of the songs are. I like songs like Motive and 630, but they kind of fall under guilty pleasure if I'm being honest. Even the lead single to this album, the title track, is kind of boring. We've heard this same kind of song over and over again. There are a lot of awesome strings on this album as well. Shut Up, 630, Love Language, and Subtly on Obvious and POV. I think the deluxe songs weren't needed. I don't think they add much of anything to the record. I also think the alternate covers are better than the main one. I personally have this cover for my CD version of the album. I think it's a lot cuter, and I get she's trying to be like sexy, but I don't know. I just think this cover is better.
Boo!
Overall, I don't really dislike this album or think it's bad. I just think it's a little forgettable, which might be worse, but that's up for you to decide. It's like a 5 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Positions gets 19 years in horny jail.
Sweet beans in a basket. Schnitzel, if you would. Nice job!
Sweetener is a mixed bag. This album is filled with hits. I was blown away to find out that No Tears Left to Cry, God Is a Woman, and Breathin' were the only singles from this album.
Horny!
I've been a slave to big-eyed blonde women since that very day.
I could have sworn this shit had like 3 other singles. I heard The Light Is Coming, Successful, and Better Off on the radio more times I can count when this album came out. My favorite thing about this album is the production, and half of this album was actually produced by Pharrell. He produced 7 of the 15 tracks on here, 14 if you're not counting Raindrops. Blaze has fun drums, Successful has cool MIDI horns, and REM has nice soft keys and beautiful vocals from Ariana as always. Fun fact, this was actually Beyonce's song before Ariana's. Both versions have the same instrumental but totally different deliveries, which is pretty interesting. The hook of Sweetener sounds like a church song, I mean that in the best way possible. The songs on here are so infectious, specifically Successful. I'd be vibing to that shit. While there's a lot to love about this album, there's also some stuff I really don't like. This album can feel repetitive at times. Ariana says, "The light is coming to get back everything the darkness stole," 18 times in that song. It's not bad, it's just annoying. I'm not huge on Goodnight and Go. Again, not bad, just not really my thing. This album, along with Positions, suffer from what I like to call the Ariana Grande effect, where songs start to just blend together. Yours Truly suffers from this too, but a little more excusable because it's a debut album. The singles to this album are pretty good, with the standout being God Is a Woman. The vocals are incredible, especially the harmonies at the end. I don't care how in love you are with somebody, do not name a song after them. You're just basically guaranteeing you won't last. The features on here don't add much. Pharrell is fun on the hook of Blazed. Missy Elliott's verse is so short that it's a criminal offense. Nicki Minaj totally phoned in this verse. I guess she was busy making a 20-track mediocre follow-up to her best fucking album. That's a conversation for another time. Yo, Ariana, come let me give you a high five. Nicki, are you fucking serious? Ari, you are one of, if not the biggest pop star in the world. If someone sent me this shit, let alone my friend, I would have been pissed. Overall, Sweetener is a fine album, and I like more things about it than dislike. It's like a 6 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Sweetener is having its engagement called off.
My brother got shot by a clown.
Why?
Because my brother kept poking him and saying, "What you gonna do about it, clown? Huh?"
Yours Truly is a great debut album, but doesn't do Ariana's legacy justice. I believe this came out the same year Victorious ended, and this was the first of many instances to prove that Victoria Justice was the least talented on that show. My critiques of this album are kinda basic and maybe unfair, so if anything comes off too nitpicky, I apologize.
No, I don't.
I like this album. It reminds me of a fun time in my life and was such a fun thing to experience. You gotta keep in mind, at the time of this album's release, we all knew Ariana Grande as Cat Valentine. Now she has an album out with Mac Miller on it. That's pretty fucking sick. I would say this album is kind of formulaic. It was coming at the end of that bubblegum pop era that was filled with artists like Katy Perry, Kesha, Taylor Swift, so it has a lot of remnants of that, but with more innocence and lovey-dovey nature to it. Look how far she's come. Songs like Piano, Popular Song, and Baby I are all catchy, fun, and basic as fuck, but that's not a bad thing. The best song on here is The Way. Come on, are we really gonna fight about this? Honeymoon Avenue is a classic and a great intro to the album. Almost As Never Enough is a beautiful ballad with Nathan Skies and probably captures everything this album set out to be. Very pretty, swingy, lovey-dovey,
And so on and so forth.
One critique I can give this album is that it's too long for what it is. A little over 45 minutes is obviously not long for an album, but for the kind of songs she's giving us here, I feel like they can almost all be a minute shorter. Besides that, there's not much to pick apart. It was her first full-length project, and for what it is, it's pretty good. 7 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Yours Truly gets a spin-off series.
I'm like quirky. I'm like silly in the
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up, please!
My everything fucking slaps. While Ariana's debut was promising, this album basically says, yeah, but I can make really good music. This album is subject to that weird 2014 era where every pop song is also an EDM song for some reason. But fuck it, this record is great. The intro is so pretty with gorgeous keys and beautiful reverby vocals. The features on here are great with The Weeknd, Childish Gambino, Not You, Jessie J, and so many more notable names. The songwriting also steps up here with the standout lyrics on songs like Best Mistake, the title track, and my personal favorite, Just a Little Bit of Your Heart. Fun fact, that song was co-written by Harry Styles. This album had 5 singles to it, and 4 of them are pretty good. Alright, let's address the problem. Problem was the lead single to this record, releasing 4 whole months before the album. It's not bad, it's just weird. The instrumental is kind of annoying, Ariana's vocals and lyrics are nowhere near as good as they are on the rest of this project, and for some reason, Iggy Azalea is on this song. No hate to Iggy, I don't hate her music, but her verse is just not great. And I don't think she's that great of an artist either. Who Ari picks to collab with are usually pretty good pairings, most of the time at least. But for the lead single to her second album, she kinda fumbled it. Going back to the EDM and pop mixing, that's something of the time that just hasn't aged super well, at least to me. The songs are great, I love them, but I can't see someone hearing them in 10 years for the first time being impressed. Who knows though, I'm probably wrong.
You stupid.
Yes.
I do love the grand nature of every song though. Why Try, Hands on Me, and Love Me Harder are so in your face and I can't get enough of them. This is a very easy album to like. From production to lyrics, it was a huge step up from Yours Truly. Also, she is not sitting on that stool. 8 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. My Everything licks donuts.
How much pussy does this motherfucker get?
We read 0 pussy, ma'am.
Dangerous Woman holds a very special place in my heart. This might be Ariana's most mature album, and I think that's safe to say. Maybe next to Thank You Next, but this album is mature nonetheless. It's her first project that doesn't sound like a product. And no disrespect to either of these albums, but you can tell with these that there were a lot of hands in the pot. And with further research, that's the case with this album too, but it doesn't sound like it, if that makes sense. This album also has a lot of loosies, which is weird. Step On Up, Jason's Song, and I guess Focus can count here too. I'm not sure why she didn't just include these on the album, but whatever. I think the aesthetic of this album is cool too. The bunny ears and mask are fun, the long black high heels, it's cool, and we got to see Ari trying something new. Her vocals also really step it up here. The second chorus on Moonlight is so grand and beautiful, the hook of Greedy is so big and eccentric, and the chorus of Bad Decisions is so in your face. I really like the hooks on this album, if you couldn't tell. Okay, really quick. Dangerous Woman, Into You, and Sometimes all have really amazing hooks. They're fucking awesome. The songwriting here is really mature. That like 1950s relationship shit from Yours Truly is gone. The innocent girl from My Everything fell off her stool. Ariana put on those high heels and she wants to fuck.
Look, I'm not saying we're going to sue. I'm just saying we have a case.
I'm sorry, I meant she wants to be taken more seriously in pop. What the fuck? I shit on Nicki Minaj's verse from Sweetener, but this verse on Side to Side is great. Lil Wayne makes an appearance on here too, which is awesome, and even Macy Gray comes out to do the intro, bridge, and outro of Leave Me Lonely. That shit does not sound like an Ariana Grande song at all. It's actually one of her most underrated songs in my opinion. It's so goddamn beautiful. Mac Miller technically makes an appearance with the Into You remix, which I think should have been the album version, but that's just me. Oh yeah, Future's on this album, I always forget that. I got to see this tour and it gave me such an appreciation for songs like Sometimes and I Don't Care. Overall, I really don't think this album has any bad songs. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Dangerous Woman gets the best photo shoot. Holy shit.
I do not wish to be horny anymore.
Thank You Next claims the #1 spot, and I don't think that should come as a surprise. This album was unfortunately born out of tragedy, the Manchester bombing, the passing of Mac Miller, and a called-off engagement. Take that and add the constant media coverage and the overwhelming bright light of fame. People argue that we shouldn't sympathize with celebrities because they're rich, but I think because of all the pictures, videos, and songs, it's easy to forget celebrities like Ariana Grande are humans with feelings, just like us. She reacts to these tragedies and hardships the same way any of us would, and I think this album is able to capture that in a couple of the tracks. The first song is Imagine, the second single from the album that focuses on an imaginary form of love that lasts forever. A perfect relationship. I find it funny that the song is kind of the opposite of the titular track, but we'll get to that later. It has hard trap drums along with claps for the chorus with deep subs. Not much here lyrically, but it does start the narrative of this album pretty well. It really sets it up for failure. The relationship, that is, not the album. The next track is Needy, which is one of my personal favorites. A lot of people don't love this one because the instrumental doesn't have a lot to it, but I think it's great. The soft keys with the background vocals on the hook are all this song really needs. Ariana's lyrics and deliveries are the main takeaway from this song. She feels insecure and is craving emotional support from her partner. This album really does go through all the phases of being in love. In order or not, I find that really interesting. It's a great song and one I revisit pretty often. NASA does a total 180 from Needy, and Ari starts telling her partner that she needs space.
Now walk away from me. I like that.
No! I knew that was you!
This song has pretty good lyrics with really fun chorus. It's spacey to match the title and is impossible to not want to dance to. I like this line too. I think it's funny. Bloodline is catchy as shit with crazy good horns, a fantastic chorus, and a hilarious intro by Ariana's grandma. This song focuses on Ariana not wanting to fully commit to anyone, just having some fun without having someone in their bloodline, especially not that guy. I love how grand this song is, the hook and the vocals are so in your face, the lyrics are great. I don't touch on this often, but this is where true songwriting comes in with the syllable count, working with the instrumental, jumping back and forth from 5 to 8 syllables for those first few lines. It makes Ariana's delivery really tight. Fake Smile's another song like Leave Me Lonely that doesn't sound like an Ariana Grande song. From the very Kanye-like sample in the beginning from Wendy Renee, the slower, more storytelling approach to this song really contrasts itself from the rest of the album. She talks about not liking and not being able to do normal things because of her fame. Always needing someone to walk with her to her car in case crazy fans see her. Having to put up a facade about how she's really feeling. I really love the second verse where she says, saying she's grateful for her position but also tired of all the attention. Probably one of the better songs lyrically. Bad Idea is a fucking banger with awesome bass and great trap drums. The hook fucking slaps, and this song has a gorgeous string section at the bridge and toward the end. The song focuses on her bad idea to call her partner to numb her pain despite this actually not doing that. Makeup is a lot of fun with the title being a fun play on words. This song is about Ariana forgiving and reuniting with her partner after a fight. It's kind of masochistic, and I wasn't huge on this song until I found out that Ariana is very self-aware about this song being so, singing about it in the past tense with understanding of this behavior being unhealthy. Research helps people.
Because it's like, ooh, yeah, we're fighting and it's hot. I hate it, but I love it. It's like my favorite song, but it's also like, let's not let that be a thing in your life again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Track 8 is Ghostin', and this song is very obviously about Mac Miller, being engaged to that guy and still thinking about your ex, someone you were very clearly happier with. I'm not gonna act like I know the details of people's relationship, but eyes don't lie. The song has these nice strings and synths, and people think this song is actually sampling 2009, but I don't think that's the case. It sounds similar, but I don't think so. I really like how slow this one is. It's very brutally honest with its lyrics, and I think Victoria Monet is actually the main writer on this song. So props to her, because this shit cuts deep. In My Head, while not being my personal favorite, is probably the best song on the album. This song is about Ariana falling in love with a version of someone she created in her head, to later find out that that's not how that person is at all. Saying her imagination is too creative, they see a demon but she sees an angel. This song has dope subs and vocal samples. A low-key performance from Ari with softer vocals fit this track perfectly. Next is Severed Rings, another song like Makeup that fits into the narrative of glorifying something bad. This song features Ariana boasting about her luxuries, all her money, diamonds, houses, and more. It's very much a song about greed and putting material possessions at the top of your priorities. As a single, this song didn't make much sense to me, but in the context with the rest of the album, it shows us Ariana buying expensive items in an effort to fill a void with her life. This song has infectious drums, is catchy as fuck, and has a fucking fucking rap at the end? Yeah, Ariana raps, and controversial opinion, it isn't bad. And I wouldn't mind seeing this on another song. Song, singular, not an Ariana rap album. There's apparently a 2 Chainz remix of this song too. I didn't listen to it and I really don't want to.
Don't care, still don't care.
Track 11 is the title track, the fucking smash single. Thank you, next. Everybody likes this song. Don't be that one person who says this song is bad. It's not. It's really good. We get beautiful soft keys, really bouncy subs, and Ariana name dropping her exes.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Big Sean, Ricky Alvarez, this guy, and Mac.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
The lyrics shine here, talking about the lessons she learned, how to be patient with someone, how to deal with the pain in a healthy way, and most importantly, learning how to love yourself. Some people might see this as another generic pop song, but it's far from that. It's an extremely personal anthem about empowerment, growth, and self-love. Not relying on other people to give her the love she needs, being able to love herself whether she's in a relationship or not. It's a beautiful song that I feel is impossible to dislike. And finally, my personal favorite, Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. What a title. The outro to this album comes in banging with great trap drums, booming ass bass, and the catchiest fucking hook. At first glance, this song seems to be about Ariana being attracted to a boy, telling him to break up with his girlfriend so she can have him to herself. But with the music video, we see that it's not the boy Ariana is attracted to, it's the woman. A woman who looks oddly like her. In the video, it's implied that the song is actually about Ariana telling herself to break up with her boyfriend in order to love herself, and that's pretty fun.
Nice.
As we've already seen, this album is filled with fun and clever shit like that. And with all that being said, here's the tracklist ranking, 9 out of 10.
The deception! The betrayal, man, you deceived me!
Thank You Next learns the power of love. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was the first ranking video I've done that isn't hip-hop, and like I mentioned before, I listen to all kinds of music, so if there's any genre or artist you'd want to see me cover, please leave those recommendations down in the comments. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.